today on the No Pillz podcast.
Gen Z doesn't want to work.
To the future of our country's workforce, many business owners fear we are in serious trouble.
As people here on this earth, we are not meant to work for our money.
Do you get what they call hungry?
I'm there to do what I'm being paid to do. I'm not here to do someone else's job.
There's something called paying your dues. It's really an investment in your future to go above and beyond.
Is above and beyond on my contract?
The most entitled generation in history.
Your generation is lazy. Y'all don't want to work these days.
Younger people just don't want to work.
I don't want to work.
I don't want to work anymore.
What is so wrong about quiet quitting?
Quiet quitting is a trend that started on TikTok and quickly took over the internet.
Quiet quitting, bare minimum Mondays.
Being gentler with yourself.
When it comes to having a job, I don't like it. My soul is meant to be free.
We love the internet.
To give a speech or have a meeting where somebody doesn't ask me the millennial question.
What's the millennial question?
Apparently millennials as a generation, which is a group of people who were born approximately 1984 and after, are tough to manage. And they're accused of being entitled and narcissistic, and self-interested, unfocused.
Gen Z, millennials, what does this have to do with your love life? You're now listening to the No Pillz podcast, your best resource for cultivating meaningful, healthy, long-lasting, romantic relationships that bloom into strong marriages. Welcome to No Pillz. Welcome to No Pillz. That's with a Z. Love fully scripted. We back, beloved. Welcome to the No Pillz podcast. No blue pills, no red pills, just that pill of truth. I'm your host, your guide, Brother Gordon, G-Man, your man, God's man, Brother Gordon. Let's get it, friends. Today, lazy love. Lazy love. Can you relate? What do we have going on? Generation Z, my millennials, lazy love. Think about it. It seems as though the millennials and the Gen Zers have been grouped, coupled, thrown into a similar bucket of disdain, hate, dislike, looking down upon. You need to do better. You get under my skin. You're annoying by some of the other older generations. If you feel my vibe. Maybe it's just me. That's what I am gathering when I'm online, doing research for this podcast, talking to folks, getting to know folks. I think I've been a little guilty of also looking at the younger generation like, what are you doing? What you got going on? You're doing it all wrong. What is your deal? Let's just be honest. So it seems like there's some generational beef going on online, friends. In the community, on planet Earth. Who's right? Who's wrong? Listen, everybody loves a good debate, it seems like. Everybody loves a good debate. But is this profitable? Before we dive into the lazy love today, I wanted to start with this. Is this something we should be encouraging? Is this positive? Is this good for future generations and even current generations? All the beef between the generations, all the talking down. I mean, does anyone like to be spoken ill of? I don't know anybody who likes to be spoken ill of. I want to bring your attention to Matthew 12, verse 25. And Yeshua, Jesus, knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Shall not stand, friends. A house divided cannot stand. Where there is strife, beef, and animosity, discord, not getting along, that household, that group, that people group cannot prosper. Is it any different for the generational beefs that are going on here in the States? That's where I live, so that's what I'm talking about, right? Can there really be a good future for America with all this beef? And what does it do to our interpersonal relationships here on this fine continent of ours, friends? I want to remind you, your relationship is a car. That car comes with an owner's manual, and that owner's manual is produced by the manufacturer. What I just read you in Matthew chapter 12, verse 25 is an instruction from the owner's manual. Get some, friends. Get some. Younger generations, my Gen Zers, my millennials, we're having trouble connecting with one another. We're finding it hard to find love in this current generation, in these current times. We're finding it difficult to locate a partner. We have billions of people on the planet, but yet we feel alone. We seem as though we can find time and find everything else except love and maybe a good paying job. Given up on dating apps, have we? Yes. Have you? No, can't deal with that anymore. Now my Gen Zers and some of my millennials, now we've bum rushed. We're disturbing. We're overrunning, pun intended, the run clubs of America. Yes, friends, now we're going to run clubs where people are getting together to run. We're coming out in the thousands, looking for love, trying to run into love out there on the concrete in these cities. Wherever there's a run club at, apparently the internet has gotten a whiff, has been made aware that, you know what? These are healthy, attractive, single people out here running. So here they come by the droves, male and female alike, mind you. Y'all need to cut this out. Look at me. Look at me. Cut this out, friend. Now, if you know you are not the exercising type, if you know you're not a health nut, come on, talk to me. And you're going out here looking for a good, honest, transparent, maybe long-lasting relationship that's going to bloom and blossom into marriage, you're going to start off that relationship with a lie, knowing darn well you're not about that running life. You on went and bought a new outfit, bought some new running shoes. I see you. We see you. Now you out there talking about, yeah, let me go. I'm going to go run. You should be ashamed of yourself, friends. Do you really want to start out a relationship on the wrong foot with deception? Being somebody you're not, pretending. Listen, this is what's wrong. Gen Z, millennials, I'm talking to you. Is it desperation? Have we fallen so low that we're going to go pretend to be athletes? We're going to go pretend to be athletic. You know, I see some of y'all in the gym too. Right around the new year, you come in with your new get up on, your new outfit, looking good, looking like you're healthy, tricking us with your gym clothes. But by week 6, some of you by week 2, you fall away. You fall away. Listen, don't be looking for love in places that you don't normally frequent. Doesn't make sense. Proverbs 18, verse 24 says this: a man that hath friends must show himself friendly. And there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. I would suggest to you that you go to events that you actually have interest in, whatever they may be, friends. If you're into festivals, concerts, music, art, any other hobbies that you legitimately do, may I even say church functions, church services, that you might actually wind up evenly yoked. That you might find someone with the same moral standards as yourself, who may have some of the same beliefs when it comes to child rearing, God, gender roles, identities, responsibilities. Why go into a pool of people that you know darn well you cannot and do not relate to? Talk to me, Gen Z. Talk to me, millennials. Talk to me. What are you doing? Are you that thirsty? Are you that thirsty that you're going to pretend to be an athlete? Come on, man. You're going to pretend to be a runner now? All those poor running clubs, man. just getting overrun. It ain't even safe. Thousands of people. Oh, man, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Listen, hopefully there'll be a few of you that's going to go out here looking for a man, looking for a woman, and you're actually going to get healthy in the process. Let's pray. Let us pray that will happen. All right? If that's the motivation you need to get healthy, well, man, maybe carry on. Get out there, get to it. I'm not completely mad at you, but come on. Come on, man. Come on. Before we unpack this lazy love concept for millennials, Gen Zers, are they involved in lazy love? I want to play a clip for you that is analyzing the millennial experience. I'm not playing the whole clip. This is cut down, but you can go back. I'll link the full video in the description. All right, here's Simon.
I have yet to give a speech or have a meeting where somebody doesn't ask me the millennial question.
What's the millennial question?
Apparently, millennials as a generation, which is a group of people who were born approximately 1984 and after, are tough to manage. And they're accused of being entitled and narcissistic and self-interested, unfocused, lazy. Right? There are four things, four characteristics. One is parenting, the other one is technology, the third is impatience, and the fourth is environment.
Now, I want to just say something here. Parenting, technology, impatience, and environment, he breaks this down and how it's impacting millennials and how, and the parenting point number one, the parenting, it's almost interesting, like, how can you be upset and mad and disappointed in children that you raised, right? That's kind of, don't get me wrong. I mean, at some point, your child has their own mind, has their own thought process, and they can choose to go left or right, up or down, choose to do wrong or choose to do what is righteous. But you have to take some accountability, right, for what your children have become, the outgrowth of the persons and the human beings that the adults that they've grown into and are maturing into. And it's interesting. Technology, impatience, environment. Let him continue on here.
In an instant, their entire self-image is shattered. And so you have an entire generation that's growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations. Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink.
This is so crazy. So let me go back a little bit here.
Dopamine is the exact same chemical.
Wait, I gotta go back a little further.
And so you have an entire generation that's growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations.
All right, so a whole generation growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations. If you're coming from a generation that doesn't have lower self-esteem, can you even relate to a generation that has lower self-esteem? I'm just touching on this point. As I say that to say this: are we being helpful in our dealings with each other? Are we building up or are we tearing down each other, generations, etc.? What's our end goal? And this is why, friends, if you're not focused on the sure bet, the better investment, which is eternity, what does it all really amount to anyway? You know, even living your quote unquote best life, if it's not an eternal life, is it your best life? So this just kind of blew my mind. Generation with the lower self-esteem. Like, wow. All right,
Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, and when we gamble. In other words, it's highly, highly addictive, right? We have age restrictions on smoking, gambling, and alcohol, and we have no age restrictions on social media and cell phones, which is the equivalent of opening up the liquor cabinet and saying to our teenagers, hey, by the way, this adolescence thing, if it gets you down.
Listen, this idea is deep, friends. This is a really deep idea. If we're talking about the drug, the alcohol has the same dopamine effect on the mind as social media does, and we regulate the drugs and the alcohol, etc., to minors, then how is it we just have free range, be on the phone, take it all in as much as you want, go out there, be like, just become addicted during one of the most turbulent times of your life when you're going through adolescence, when you're maturing into an adult, when your hormones are all over the place, when you're trying to find out who you are and what you have going on, when you can feel so alone in a room full of people. Like, this is probably one of the most ambiguous, dark, weird times in your life, and we've got you drugged up, we've got you medicated. Not to mention if you're not being medicated in your school system, if you're not on some Ritalin or something else or some other psychiatric drug that you got going on, and then you add in the phone. This really blew my mind when I thought about this. Like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what we have our young people set up for, just not seeing it for the addictive thing that it is, and thinking that we don't need to set any regulations or boundaries on it to preserve the mind and mental health of our millennials and our Gen Zers, right? That have grown up with the technology. It's bizarre. He goes on to say this.
No, the science is clear. We know that people who spend more time on Facebook suffer higher rates of depression than people who spend less time on Facebook. Right?
This is crazy. One of the most depressed, right? Most anxious, anxiety-filled generations. And you're online comparing yourself with every other fake thing out there. All the filters, living my best life, all the snapshots, all the vacations. Social media rarely ever catches the pain, catches the real, or captures the real. And this is what you're trying to compare yourself to, something that doesn't even exist. The dopamine, the loneliness, driving you, aiding you to be depressed. And I guess what I've seen, I think when I first started this podcast and as I started to do research on these topics, and I think I was in the group with everybody else, like, hey, what's going on with this younger generation? But when you look at the whole transition from X to millennials to Gen Z, a lot has happened that has negatively impacted our mental health. In comparison to older generations, we're not outside in the open air as much as we used to be. The food is terrible if we're not just straight being poisoned. Our mental health, we're in cubicles all day, we're behind screens all the time, and then we're finding out that those screens and those platforms and those social media platforms have been designed to be addictive, to give us dopamine. And then we had some of us had the poor parenting to complement it. It's almost like a recipe for destruction. And now here's the thing. All my Gen Zers out there are responding to the whole accusation of being lazy. They're like, no, listen, we're not lazy. We're saying that we can't afford, like, the time and energy, the 40 plus hours a week that you used to work, boomers, Gen X, we do those same hours and we can't even sustain ourselves. And then we're going to be fired by our employer one fine day when they decide they no longer need us, and we're just a number, and we're not on board with it. So they're moving outside the box. They're doing things that are unheard of to us, and we're like, everyone is so confused. It's like, listen, friends, let me tell you something. The solution, how to live life is in that owner's manual, friends. It's in that owner's manual. All the psychology, all the men's idea, it can only go so far. You got to know where you're from, and you got to know where you're going. And this way you can unpack the purpose in your life. Real talk, friends. I'm not lying to you. I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating, but just look around. Everything around us, people, economy alike, falling to pieces, breaking down, can't take the pressures. We have a generation that cannot cope with the harsh realities of this current world. Like, it's not fair. Let me be the first to tell you. Maybe no one has told you this. Maybe you have been told you'll get whatever you want if you work hard enough. You deserve justice and all. Listen, in this life, in this fallen world, nothing is guaranteed, and you definitely don't deserve what you think you deserve. In a joyful, free life, it will not just be handed to you on the platter. The freedoms that you and I are experiencing now definitely came off the backs, sweat, and blood of those who came before us. We've got to be real with ourselves, millennials and Gen Z. We're soft, friends. My exes too. My exes was soft. Like, you know, we brought in the soft era. We have to base our thoughts in reality. You know, we have to understand, like, okay, I'm gonna get up today. Tomorrow's not promised. I can be a faithful employee and not get treated right. I could be a faithful spouse and get cheated on. I could do what is right and yet be treated wrong. This is the world I live in, and how am I mentally going to cope with that? And we got to stop, you know, versus living in la la land, as they say, versus living in a place that's not reality. Like, it's wild. Friends, I was married almost 20 years to a very beautiful young lady who was soft and sweet and tender. And at the age of 37, she passes away of cancer. Welcome to planet Earth, friends. The day you eat thereof, you shall surely die, the owner's manual says. The day you eat thereof, you shall surely die. And if I would have neglected that and didn't believe that and thought that wasn't true, I would have been in a terrible, terrible conundrum. Mental health would have been shattered had my thoughts not been based in reality, based in truth, based in hope. So I'm just saying to you, yeah, life is not fair. This life right now is not fair. Unjust things are happening all the time, every day. Doesn't make them right. But I believe and know that there is a day of reconciliation, a day when all things will be made new. Friends, you got to cope. You've got to deal with this generation and this world that you're in, where people want to take advantage of you. They don't want to do right by you. And you've got to maintain in all that. You've got to hold it together. You've got to hold it together. Who are you leaning on? We're going to get into that some more here because this other response is interesting too. But let's finish up.
If you wake up and you check your phone before you say good morning to your girlfriend, boyfriend, or spouse, you have an addiction. And like all addiction, in time, it'll destroy relationships, it'll cost time, and it'll cost money, and it'll make your life worse.
Facts. This man's dropping gems. If the first thing you do when you open your eyes is grab the phone, not for the purpose of reading the owner's manual, but to see how many likes your post got, to get your dopamine hit on, to start scrolling, you are addicted. You are addicted. If you cannot be separated from this phone for any length of time, you go out with friends. Listen, he touches on this in the full clip. He touches on going out to dinner, having meetings, etc., and being able to detach from your phone during those times with real live people. And, you know, one of the suggestions I would give you, if you're going out to dinner with somebody, a friend, family member, whoever, like, yo, leave your phone in the car. Like, I do this all the time. Leave your phone in the car. And that way I know I'm going to give you my undivided attention. And the person that you're going out with, if you respect and love them, they deserve that from you. Like, I want to hear, listen, I don't like to go to someone's house and visit and like they have a TV on or internet or phone. Like, I came to visit you as a person. I came to see how you are doing. Came to see if you're all right. I'm checking in on you. I don't want you glued to an idiot box. I don't want you glued to your screen and not talking to me, giving me one-word responses. Yeah, no, yeah, good. Like, come on. And we're like, oh, listen, most of the world almost died mentally during COVID. Praise the Lord, I was in a state where we didn't have any of those restrictions like that. But almost some of mental health plummeted from a lack of social interaction. It's like we still been trained, like, yeah, I got all these people around me, but I'm not talking to them. I'm more comfortable sending you a text than holding the door and telling you hello and starting a conversation with you. Yo, millennials, Gen Zs, man, the enemy's after your mental health. Come on, after the mental health.
But if you don't have the phone, you just kind of enjoy the world.
Yo,
and so what this young generation needs to learn is patience. That something,
let's go back.
And so what this young generation, you just kind of enjoy the world.
Listen, this is so spot on. I remember I was going over to Glacier, okay? Glacier National Park. Beautiful, beautiful place. If you haven't been, I suggest you go. And I found myself trying to take a few pictures, you know, once or twice. I'm not a picture. I don't like pictures. And after like one or two, you know what I said to myself? Look, man, I'm putting my phone's going away. I'm here. If you didn't make it here, you got to make it here on your own. I wanted my eyeballs to take in the landscape because the photos never do it justice. And I didn't want to miss taking in the landscape, trying to take a photo to show somebody else who is not even there. Yeah, maybe you snap 1-2 photos just for, like we've been here. Snap, that's it. I am trying to personally be engaged in that environment, see what the Lord has to say to me. I want to be present. I want to hear the revelation of the Most High. And friends, we'll live a lot of our experiences now behind the phone versus just being personal, being there in real life. The fact that there's even we're trending now with IRL content, like we should always be living in real life, but it's like, no, we've transitioned to simulation, and now we're trying to get ourselves back to real. Like everything should be happening in real life, real time, not from behind the screen. Like, man, put that screen down. Like, look, if someone can't be there, too bad for them. This will give them motivation to go. Tell them how beautiful it was. Take it in. Don't fall into the trap of trying to live your life behind a screen, having to take photos of your food, take photos of the people with you, taking photos of the landscape, and yet you didn't really enjoy the food. You really didn't enjoy the person you were with, and you really didn't enjoy the destination. You can just enjoy the world when you set the phone down.
And so what this young generation needs to learn is patience. That some things that really, really matter, like love or job fulfillment, joy,
come on,
love of life, self-confidence, a skill set, any of these things, all of these things take time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can expedite pieces of it, but the overall journey is arduous and long and difficult.
Yeah.
Find a better balance between life and technology, because quite frankly, it's the right thing to do.
Listen, this is my first time running into this brother's content. Don't know much about him. I didn't agree with everything he said, but man, on this front of finding this balance between living in this world of technology and not losing yourself, not losing those around you, not losing eternity, being distracted by these devices, sometimes of the enemy, is so true. I think technology hit us like an overwhelming flood and we weren't ready. It's like any other drug that has come along. When it arrives in history or in time and space, we don't really know what the drug is going to do to us. We don't know what it's going to do to future generations. And this drug has had a real quick impact on future generations. Like almost immediately, the next generation, anxiety and depression. Internet has not been around that long. Smartphones have not been around that long. And a very short time, we are seeing the negative impacts, right? The negative impacts of being saturated in information, in vices, in entertainment. And it's just, we're plummeting, man. We're just going down the drain. Gen Zers, we're millennials, we're hurting. We're out here hurting, friends. We've got to get back to like putting our feet on grass, being grounded, breathing in the fresh air, camping, hiking, splitting wood, shoveling snow. We've got to get back to some of the basics, man. Playing double dutch, hopscotch, freeze tag, round up. Come on, man. Booties, handball. Yeah. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, look. He mentioned love. Right? Now let me show you something from a Gen Zer. Let me show you something from a Gen Zer. All right, some comments from a Gen Zer. All right, so this is from Shira Divine 555. Look what she has to say.
It is abusive to your soul to do something you don't want to do over and over again. I have never seen a more accurate description on why I'm a professional job hopper. I cannot work a job for more than 6 weeks without getting irritated, mad, bored. It just depletes my energy. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's not because I don't want to work. I love doing work. I just love doing the work that I want to do. I don't like when someone can determine my schedule, when I can work, when I can take a break, if I can get vacations, how much I get paid. Like, there's so many like controlling factors when it comes to having a job, and I don't like it. My soul is meant to be free. My soul is meant to venture out, do what I want to do, and I feel like all of us should be able to do that. I recently quit my job, and I have everyone ask me, well, what are you going to do for money? When are you going to find another job? And I'm just like, I don't want to. Like, I'm at that point where it's just like, I don't need to. I'm working on my career. I don't need to worry about how money is going to come in. I have that trust, and I have that faith in the universe. And when you're following something that you truly love to do, all of the resources that you could ever need will come to you.
All right, this is not hate. This is not hate, but let's talk about it. Let's ground some of this Gen Zers' thoughts in reality, okay? To Dr. Phil's point at the beginning of this, at the intro here, girlfriend, you got to eat, fam. Family, talk to me. You got to eat. So either your parents are taking care of you, a boyfriend, something like what are you talking about right now? Let's just get that out of the way first. Let's be practical. Most people got to get on and get to work so they can have food, clothing, shelter. Just saying. I want you to notice 4 things that she said. I cannot work a job more than 6 weeks without getting irritated, mad, bored, etc. I don't like it, right? I want to do what I want to do. And she places faith in the universe. Now, friends, let me ask you a question. If this young person reflects the mindset of some Gen Zers out there, if Gen Z has this type of mindset and mentality, and they lay this type of thought process, they carry it over to their relationships, what does that look like in practice? You meet somebody, if you're with them for 6 weeks or more, you're getting irritated, you're getting mad, and you're getting bored. The same way you job hop, now you've got to relationship hop. And friends, if this is not being reflected in the hookup culture that we're in, tell me I'm lying. This mentality, this mindset is wild. Like it's your work ethic is going to reflect how much work you're willing to put into your relationships. So if you don't like it, you leave. If it doesn't go your way, you leave. If it's not serving you, then you leave. It's like, what are we talking about? Now listen, women are more likely to file for divorce. They're the ones filing for divorce. So if this young lady's thought process reflects more young Gen Zers, females' thought process out there, what does the future hold? What does the future hold? Now listen, if now there may be a little bit of glimmer of hope here. I don't even want to call it hope, but over at Women's Health mag.com, they said this, they reported this. The rate of divorces appears to be falling and has been since 2000. According to 2021 Office of National Statistics data, that was the latest available at the time, millennial unions are performing better at the 10-year mark than their predecessors. So millennials, maybe they haven't taken on this full Gen Z thought process, doing better at the 10-year mark of staying divorced. Only 18.3% have divorced of millennials after a decade of marriage versus 23% of Gen Xers and 22% of baby boomers. So millennials, if maybe we're not thinking, maybe the millennials, right, are not, for those who are curious, I'm like a transitionary, I'm in one of those transitionary places between the generations, like between an Xer and a millennial. That's where I fall, right? I get the privilege of being like bi-generational. If the biracial folks think you have a hard time, try being bi-generational, huh? That'll throw you off. That'll throw a wrench in your life, okay? All right, listen. Interestingly enough, millennials, this is Better Health reported this. BetterHealth.com reported this. Millennials usually place more emphasis on emotional intimacy, mutual respect, and communication than on jobs, social status, or income level. Embracing these values frequently allows millennials to create relationships emphasizing personal growth and emotional connection. Assuming that a millennial didn't write that, maybe there's a balance in it. I would say this type of thought process and mentality is what one ought to have, where we value emotional relationships, when we value people, experiences, and faith. You say, Brother Goodman, why are you talking about faith? This young lady said for her last point, she places faith in the universe. Faith in the universe. Friends, let me tell you something. To all my Gen Zers out there, all my millennials out there, the universe cannot speak to you. The universe does not know you. The universe does not work on your behalf. It does not align events in your life for you. It does not love you or care about you. Okay? If you just think that out all the way through. The universe does not have a plan for your eternity. The universe cannot resurrect you back from the dead. Like, I don't even know where this thought process and philosophy is coming from. But in Psalms 100, verse 3, I want to read you something from the owner's manual. Know ye that Yahweh, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are created beings. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Romans 1, verse 25 says this from the owner's manual. Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. The universe has been created by the creator. Looking to the creation is foolishness. You should look to the creator. He that created the eye, can he not see? He that created the ear, can he not hear? I'm Gordon McGee. This is No Pillz. I'm signing off. This is Love Fully Scripted, and I'll catch you next week.